We begin with some truly tragic news today, and this time it's actually something quite personal to us. Pro-Israel activist Ari Fold, whom many of you may know as a longtime freelance correspondent and co-host here at ILTV, has just been murdered by a Palestinian terrorist. He was stabbed to death mere hours ago outside a shopping mall in Gush Etzion. And as you can imagine, this is quite difficult news to give. Ari's death shouldn't be underscored by the life that he lived both as a man and as an advocate for Israel, the country that he so passionately loved and fought for. It was this passion that brought him to work for Standing Together, an NGO that has supported IDF soldiers since its founding in 2003. This work brought Fold to audiences all over the world and eventually to us here at ILTV, where he contributed for many years as a correspondent in the field, as an expert guest, and as a co-host of the show Frenemies. For those of you who know him or his work, it may not surprise you to learn that news of his death has touched and shaken many near and far, including those within the highest levels of the Israeli government. Education Minister Naftali Bennett has called him a hero, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has personally posted his own condolences on Facebook, calling Ari a heroic fighter for Israel. As a true testament to the kind of man that Ari was, even his final act was one of perseverance and total bravery. After being fatally stabbed by his attacker, he managed to pull out his handgun and shoot his assailant before collapsing on the ground in order to save those around him from a similar fate. Ari's funeral will be held tonight at Gush Etzion Cemetery. All of us here at the station will certainly cherish Ari Fold's memory, and we are sending our deepest condolences to his family, his wife, and his 4 children. This is a difficult goodbye to a very cherished friend.
Is Avi Yemeni from Melbourne. Avi, welcome to Outsiders. Glad to have you here. Now, just tell us, I mentioned earlier, you have come from a family of 17. You were born in Melbourne the night you arrived in Melbourne, one of 17 kids. Talk us through your background quickly before we get into white South African farmers and other things.
So I grew up, from an ultra-Orthodox Jewish family. I'm the middle child of 17 kids. I like to think I have middle child syndrome times 17. Joined the army, the IDF, at about 19.
The Israel Defense Force.
And here I am today.
Yep.
That's right.
So you were in the Israel Defense Force, and you actually, tell us what you did there.
I was a sharpshooter, spent most of my active duty on the Gaza border.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to come back to the Gaza. You've become quite prominent recently in political activism, if you like. You own a gym, or owned a gym in Melbourne.
G'day guys. So I'm just going to make this video quickly because I think there's a few things before I go to bed that I just, while I'm processing this news myself, that I wanted to make sure to let everyone know. So Ari Fold, for those of you who don't know, was one of Israel's bravest men, not only for his service but for his activity online. And Ari Fold often contacted me with issues that many of us experience in this field. Ari was someone who was not afraid to call the spade a spade, to call a lot of the issues happening in Israel for what it is, and the Islamic terror for what it was. Now, you guys can go online and look at the footage. I've just watched it now. It's ever at the moment, where you can see the brutal murder happen. Now, I'll just describe it because it's very hard to actually see it if you don't understand what's going on, and if you don't understand Hebrew, so you can hear the security personnel actually explaining what's going on in the clip. What happens is, it seems like it may have been a targeted attack because he is a critic of Islam. Don't know yet. I'm speculating like many people are at the moment. But when you look at the footage, he's come out of a store or something. He comes to the side and there's a man hiding there, comes from behind. An Islamic terrorist comes from behind and stabs him. Now, Ari did not cave, fall. Ari, with the stab wounds, chased after this coward and shot him himself before he collapsed and died. Now, I'm still in shock. I still can't believe that this man is dead. And this is a man that's been through war. This man's been through everything. And he's a brave person. But one of the things that we used to communicate about often was about censorship. Ari, every single day, his pages on Facebook were getting shut down. His thing on YouTube kept getting shut down. And this is not somebody, if you go, and I encourage you all to go look him up and watch some of his content, you will see that this is one of the most sensible people, well-spoken people, most well-presented people, not a hateful person. Somebody who just spoke with common sense and said it as it was, wasn't afraid. He died unafraid. He died fighting till the end. And that's how he should be remembered. But this, I think one of his legacies, one of the things is censorship on social media was something that Ari was on the receiving end of it day in, day out. And I guess for me, this encourages me now to stand up every single day and use any platform I have to keep telling the truth. And I encourage every single person at home to share it. They will shut down my Facebook. I had a video, I tried to find it now. I had a video where I sat with Ari in Sydney, Australia. When he came to visit, he did a tour here not long ago. And I sat with him in Sydney, Australia. But guess what? It's gone because it was on my old Facebook page that has been pulled down. So we need to come together, and if this can be one of the things that we take away from Ari Fauld's horrific death, is don't let censorship beat us, because so often he was beat down by those who were shutting him down, and it was group of leftists in Israel. This is the irony. It was leftists in Israel that would mass report him and shut down his pages because he dared to criticize Islam, who ultimately murdered him.
כן אחי. הנה.
דקה, בום.
דקה אותו.
בן זונה.
כן אחי, אני שם. נלחם איתו.
רדוף אחריו.
טוב, בסדר, מה?
זה הדקור? זה הדקור.
זה הדקור שירה?
זה הדקור, כן, זה הדקור. הוא פגע בו.
הנה,
הנה, ואז הוא מתנתק.